I think in the past year, we have seen God work in incredible ways, ways that were unexpected, but also ways that have been delightful to see as well. Things like we've made a conscious effort to try and celebrate the things that God has been doing amongst us, because it's so easy to go past things and not actually reflect on the fact that God has been involved or has been working. It's too easy sometimes to move on to the next thing we're disappointed in God with. So I think...
What sort of things are you talking about?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
One of our Bible study leaders a year ago said, could you please send, Andrew, could you please send more people into our mission group? That's what we call our Bible study groups. Could you send more people into our mission group? Because we just don't have enough to keep a core going every week. And that person just last month told me, can you stop sending people into our Bible study group this year? Because we can't fit everybody in. And it's one of those moments where I kind of just reflected, like, if I don't actually see what God has done just within a year, just within that one mission group, I've actually missed an amazing thing that God has done in our midst in the last year, which we should be giving praise and honour to God for, but all too often we kind of looked past. And so I'm working harder, I think, to be able to recognise the work that God has been doing in and amongst our church.
Have you been seeing that sort of work, Jess?
Yeah, I think it's exciting to sometimes you put the effort in and you don't get results, and then God just does something which is like pretty amazing, like someone will come along or that kind of thing. So they're the highs, because it's the unexpected joys that God's saying, I'm in control of this, so you're not in control of it, like it's my work. So you might put a lot of effort in and it doesn't result in anything, and then someone will arrive at your doorstep and say, sort of, how do I become a Christian? You know, like that's the sort of highs where God surprises you, I think.
If you had expectations that you might like to tell your earlier selves to be careful of, or even to have expectations in the area, what might that be? That was a confusing question. Let me phrase that again.
No, go.
Let me say it this way. If
only you'd asked us these questions before, Mark, far out.
If you had a chance to say to some earlier version of yourself 12, 18 months ago, hey, don't worry too much about this, or actually this is the thing you really should be keeping your eye on, what might you say?
Be patient. Trust God. I think that's been the lesson that I've been learning over the course of particularly this last 12 months. We've been going as a church for about 18 months as I'm making this recording. Be patient. I think the work of God isn't one big swing where it all happens and it's all successful. It's slow, it's methodical, it's persistent, using a Bible word. It's persistent work for the gospel. It's persistent work with people that don't want to hear the gospel, that move towards being open to an opportunity to finding yourself in a conversation of questions that they really have. But this takes months and months and even years of time, and it's about remaining faithful and persisting in the work of God across a long period of time. And so if you set expectations that we're going to be the mega church in 1 year's time, and we're going to double in size in 1 year's time, in many ways I think God is almost setting you up for a fail at that point, because that may not be the way that he wants his kingdom to expand. You trust God and you continue to be persistent with your work, and then you get to celebrate the great things that he does along the way, because you've been hard at work and you actually reflect on the good things that he's given you.
Yeah, I think it's like just pray and like whatever's happened, just pray. Know that God is his work, I think. Yeah, and yeah, I think sometimes the lows are where you just think, what's happening? Like for us, it's like, this is your church, God. Come on, do something. And then he does. So I think it is that patience, knowing that it's a long-term work too. I think like I'd agree with that. It's like when you get there, when initially you just want to hit the ground and run, you want to So you go to 1,000 groups. You want to meet as many people as you can possibly meet. And I think realizing that, it is a longer term thing. And I think that was some of the issues at the beginning, is that you want to start so fast and so keen without realizing that it's not sustainable.
So what about I guess you talked about God doing things. What sort of fruit can you look back on in the last 12 months?
In the last 12 months, we've seen people come to Christ. We've seen people who weren't at churches come and become members of our church and really rekindle a Christian faith that they'd let lapse in many ways. We've seen Christians who were mature in their faith already really grow as well. Those have been some of the delightful changes that we've seen right across our congregation. If I was to pick one thing that I'm particularly excited about what God has done in our church, it would be that there's a sense of real mission in our people, that they actually, as a church, we are desiring together to love and enrich our community as we call people to follow Jesus. That we are seeking to be a church of people that looks outward from ourselves, looks at the community that we're in Green Square, seeking to make a gospel difference in the community, seeking to have a disproportional gospel effect on the community around us, but also seeking to find opportunities to be able to invite people to hear the gospel in different ways. And as a church, I feel that we are starting to really take hold of that goal together, and that's been a delight to see.
What do you think you've seen, Jess?
I think the same thing, seeing people view church very differently. Yeah, so seeing rather than church as something that you turn up to. So a lot of the people in our church, majority of the people in our church are actually serving now, but they're serving in roles that they would not have thought that they could serve in before, and they're enjoying that. They're enjoying that challenge, and that's sort of firing them up as well in their Christian faith. So that's sort of exciting because we don't have the resources. People are stepping up and doing things that they would have probably stepped back and let someone else do before. But and that's been bringing rewards and fruit for them. And on that other, you were talking about people with a mission mindset. So with our Bible study group, we've got people now leading the Christianity Explored themselves and inviting people along to that. So, in the past that probably would have been something that Andrew would have done, but now they're owning it and they're teaching, like learning to teach it themselves.
I have to get out of the way now. that's
so
the multiplying effect,
works
isn't
better.
it?
It actually works really well when
I'm not there. That's
when
what
they're
you're
freed
saying.
up to do it. No, but it
It works better. It's so much
really
better.
It's really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Yeah.